Hi guys, I'm back with another lecture of human rights and values, and this is going to be the last lecture of Unit 1. After this, we'll start with the second unit. And today we are going to talk about the cultural, social, educational, and economic rights and political rights as well. So, before we start, just a brief introduction about myself. So, I'm Sandhya Rao, working as an assistant professor at St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management, and the subject I'm taking here is human rights and values. So yeah, so this is the last topic. So far we have covered all the topics. Only topic that is left is this cultural, educational rights, economic rights, political rights, and social rights. All right, so let's get started. Yeah. So before we start, I would like you to see a video so that our concept of human rights gets freshen up. You know what human rights are and why do we exactly need to classify them in the social, economic, and cultural rights. So let's get started. Let's just watch this video.
Human rights. Well, human rights are the values which keep society fair, just and equal. They protect children, the elderly, people in care, victims of domestic violence, people with mental health problems, religious groups, teachers, soldiers, and yes, prisoners. They protect all of us. They protect you. Our human rights are protected by law. That means we can do something if our rights are attacked. But not everyone loves human rights. Some want to water them down, even scrap them. Our rights are under threat, so it's time to get educated. Societies used to be controlled by all-powerful rulers who could be horribly unjust. Kings only gave rights to people they liked. Over thousands of years, people fought for equality, and with every hard-won right came new laws that improved how we lived. But in the 20th century, brutal dictators came to power. They ruled by fear, like the kings of the past. Those hard-won rights, they were dismantled on an unimaginable scale. After World War II, the democracies got together and said, never again. They created a simple document setting out the basic rights we all need to live a dignified life. The European Convention puts rights, not rulers, at the heart of our society. Like the right to life, to liberty, to free speech. Then, in 1998, Parliament passed the Human Rights Act, which made our human rights part of UK law. This means public bodies like hospitals and schools must respect our rights, and if they don't, we can go to our local court to enforce them. Now, because of human rights, patients in hospitals must be treated with compassion. Journalists cannot be forced to reveal their sources. Soldiers must be given proper equipment. Gay people have to be treated equally, and the police cannot keep our DNA forever if we're innocent. We have to be treated fairly, at work, at home, in school, anywhere, everywhere. Our human rights are hard-won. They're part of our British heritage. We are proud of them. If we lose them, vulnerable people will pay the biggest price. Know your rights. Celebrate them. Protect them. Share this video if you think human rights matter.
All right, so from this video, we have seen many videos like this before as well, but I just wanted to to recall all those things. So there are a number of rights that have been formed. Human rights have been formed. For example, right to equality, right to life, and right to education, right to cast our vote, and the separation of power of the government. There are many kinds of rights. Okay, so in all these rights, it comprises of social rights as well, it comprises of the economic rights as well, it comprises of the political rights as well, and also the cultural and educational rights. So it's not something that we are doing in exclusion. This is already what we have done so far, but we have classified them into several categories. Okay, so social rights are those rights which which help us to live in our society. हम जिस society में रहते हैं उसमें, so that we are able to conduct ourselves in a very dignified manner, us relation में these rights have been formed. So, right to freedom from slavery and servitude is an example of that. Right to freedom from torture or cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment is also a social right. Right to freedom from arbitrary interference with privacy, family, home, or correspondence. So, nobody can interfere with our privacy. We have the right to privacy. Also, nobody can torture us. Nobody can impound. Nobody can uh, treat us in a very degrading manner. Nobody can punish us for no reason, and we are free from any kind of slavery or servitude. So already we have done it, but we are classifying them as social rights now. Okay. Also, the right to marry and have a family and the right to property. All these rights we have covered in the UDHR articles also. So these are social rights which help us to conduct ourselves, to live our life in the society in a very dignified manner. Okay. The next is political rights. Political rights which are in relation to the politics or the political parties. Okay, or the political status. So this covers the right to nationality, the right to equality before the law, and equal protection of the law. So you can say that it includes all the legal kind of rights that we have. So we have the right to nationality, which means that we have the right to belong to a particular country. We have the right to change our nationality, provided we clear or fulfill the requirements, the nationality requirements of that particular country. Then definitely the law treats us in equal manner. All are equal before the law, and there will be equal protection of the law in the same situations, under the same circumstances. The right to judicial remedies. All the people have the right to consult the judicial assistance, to get the judicial assistance. Fair trial should be there. And right to freedom of thought, expression, belief, faith, and conscience and religion, which means that we are free to follow any religion, any belief, any faith, or we are free to express our opinion. Right to freedom of peaceful assembly and association. Nobody can disallow us to form union, to form an assembly. We have already covered all these things. Right to equal suffrage, right to freedom of movement, and right to asylum. If you want to go to another country, to seek justice because we feel threatened in our country, then we have the right of asylum as well. And then there are economic rights as well. So right to social security is there, right to work, and the right to get equal pay, which talks about the economic rights, as in which gives us equal economic अपॉर्चुनिटीज. ठीक है, अपने आप अपना लिविंग स्टैंडर्ड को अपग्रेड करने के लिए जो हमें अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिलती हैं, दे आर ऑल equal. Right to form trade unions. If we feel that at our workplace we are not getting equal treatment, then we have this right to form trade unions. Right to rest and leisure. Definitely people get tired after long hours of work, so definitely they have the right to rest and to have the leisure time. And also the number of hours is fixed. They cannot be we cannot work beyond a certain number of hours. Okay? It's practically impossible for us to work for 20 hours or 22 hours or 24 hours. So there has to be a limit. ठीक है, minimum hours जो है वो defined होते हैं हर organization के, and we have to work according to that only. Then right to food, health, and adequate standard of living. All people have the right to get food, nutritious food. Then we have the right to proper health also. Okay, if we fall ill, then we have the right to get the medical assistance. Then okay, so when we move to cultural rights, in Indian constitution, they have been defined in Article 29 and Article 30. So Article 29 deals with the protection of language, script, and culture of minorities, which means that, we are trying to protect the culture. जो भी आपके कल्चर से रिलेटेड आपकी जो भी सभ्यता है, जो भी आपका कल्चर है, उसको प्रोटेक्ट कर सकते हो. And if you want to protect or preserve your language also, then there's a provision for that as well. And there are certain kinds of scripts, manuscripts होते हैं, कुछ ऐसे लिखित चीजें होती हैं जो आपकी historical scripts होती हैं काफी, तो उसको भी you have the right to preserve. um, and here we are talking about the minorities. Okay, and Article 30 deals with the right of minorities to establish and administer educational institutions. Okay, so educational institutes भी आप form कर सकते हैं, आप किसी भी school में जा सकते हैं. You can nobody can deny you from the right to education. Okay, so we'll study them in great detail, Gabi. So, article we get this cultural article, and cultural and educational rights are actually classified into four parts. Okay, as I've already told you, Article 29 and 30 both covers the cultural and educational rights. उनके भी कुछ sub parts हैं. So let's just go through them. The right of citizens is to conserve its language, स्क्रिप्ट और कल्चर, विच मीन्स कि हर पर्सन, हर सिटीजन का ये राइट है कि वो अपनी लैंग्वेज, स्क्रिप्ट और कल्चर को प्रिजर्व कर सके, एंड दिस इज कवर्ड अंडर आर्टिकल 29 सबसेक्शन 1। ठीक है, तो आप अपनी लैंग्वेज को, स्क्रिप्ट को, कल्चर को प्रिजर्व करके रख सकते हो। द सेकेंड थिंग इज द राइट ऑफ अ सिटीजन नॉट टू बी डिनाइड एडमिशन इनटू स्टेट मेंटेन्ड एंड स्टेट एडेड इंस्टीट्यूशन ऑन द ग्राउंड ओनली ऑफ रिलीजन, race, caste or language, which means that if you want to pursue education in any of the institute, you're free to do that, provided you qualify for the requisites. Okay? If you fulfill the basic eligibility criteria, then definitely nobody can deny you on the basis of your religion, on the basis of your caste, on the basis of your creed or language. Okay? Nobody can deny you that, चाहे वो state owned हो, state aided institution हो, no matter what the kind of institution is, you are free to get education in that particular institute. Nobody can deny you from that opportunity. Okay. Then next is right of all the religious or linguistic minorities to establish and administer educational institutions of their own choice. Now, here दो चीजें हैं जो आपको ध्यान देनी है. There are two terms. One is establish and the other one is administer. These two terms are very important in this context and they have to be read in cooperation. या ये दोनों चीजें जो हैं ये complementary हैं. They should not be studied in exclusion. Independently इनको नहीं पढ़ना है, इनको दोनों को साथ में लेकर चलना है. So when we are saying that minorities can establish, then minorities have to administer that educational institute as well. ऐसा नहीं हो सकता है कि सिर्फ एस्टैब्लिश कर दिया है, एडमिनिस्टर नहीं कर रहे हैं, या एडमिनिस्टर कर दिया है, एस्टैब्लिश नहीं कर रहे हैं. तो इन दैट केस उनको ये जो राइट है उसका दे कैन नॉट क्लेम द राइट अंडर दैट सिचुएशन. ठीक है, सो दीज टू थिंग्स शुड हैव टू हैपन साइमल्टेनियसली. So here it means that if there is any religious or linguistic minority, कोई भी minority group है, then they have this right to establish any educational institute. कोई भी minority जो है वो अपना एक educational institute जो है वो बना सकते हैं. And ऐसा नहीं है, for example, I'm just taking an example. For example, if the Muslim community decides to form an educational institute, ठीक है, तो अब जरूरी नहीं है कि उसमें वो अपनी ही लैंग्वेज, अपनी ही स्क्रिप्ट और अपने ही कल्चर को प्रमोट करे. ऑल्दो दे कैन डेफिनेटली डू दैट, बट इट इज नॉट मैंडेटरी दैट दे डू दैट ओनली. इफ दे वांट टू मेक अ फुल फ्लेज नॉर्मल स्कूल जिसमें सारी लैंग्वेजेस, हिंदी, इंग्लिश एंड उर्दू सब कुछ सिखाया जाता है, देन दे कैन डू दैट एज वेल. एंड इफ दे वांट टू फॉर्म अ प्रॉपर मदरसा अगर वो बनाना चाहते हैं, देन दे आर फ्री टू डू दैट एज वेल. But they also have to administer the educational institute. Okay, now here administer का मतलब क्या है, that उसको, उसकी जो मैनेजमेंट है, उसकी जो देख रेख है, वो ही माइनॉरिटी ग्रुप करेंगे. सो एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में आपकी क्या क्या चीजें आएंगी, एज इन द क्वालिफिकेशन कंडीशंस व्हिच हैव बीन लेड डाउन फॉर द हायरिंग ऑफ द टीचर्स, और जो भी आपका स्टाफ है उसको हायर करने के लिए जो भी आपने अपनी कंडीशंस जो है वो ले डाउन करी हैं, आप उसके लिए ऑथराइज हो जाते हो. सेकेंड थिंग इज क्वालिफिकेशंस फॉर द entry of the students, whatever criteria you want to set for the students, that only the students who have scored 90% or 80% in their जो भी आपका previous class है उसमें, then you will allow them the admission into your school. Then वो आपके ऊपर होता है, you are fully authorized to do that as well. आपको जो भी criteria जो है वो lay down करना है, but in no case you can discriminate on the basis of the color, caste, religion or language. Definitely you can have the reservation option अगर आपकी स्टेट से परमिशन है या सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट से जो भी आपने परमिशन दी हुई है, बट वो एक लिमिट तक होता है. ठीक है, लाइक एज वी हैव ऑलरेडी कवर्ड दैट पॉइंट आल्सो, दैट रिजर्वेशन कैन नॉट एक्सीड 50%. सो हियर अगेन जो कि बाकी रिमेनिंग सीट्स हैं उसके लिए सब लोग एलिजिबल है. यू कैन नॉट डिस्क्रिमिनेट एनीबडी ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ द कलर, कास्ट और रिलीजन या लैंग्वेज. And also you have the authority to determine the course of study कि आप कौन सा कोर्स रखना चाहते हो, वो आपके ऊपर है. ठीक है. Also the condition of services as in superannuation का क्या कॉन्सेप्ट रहेगा, कब रिटायर होंगे आपके लोग, कितने टाइम तक वो अपनी सर्विस को कंटिन्यू कर सकते हैं, that again is totally up to you. You can decide that. हाइजीन एंड द फिजिकल ट्रेनिंग ऑल्सो यू कैन डिसाइड कि किस तरह से वो फिजिकल एक्टिविटीज क्या क्या करेंगे, फिजिकल ट्रेनिंग कैसी होगी उनकी, and what hygiene factors you want to have in your organization, that is totally up to you. So but the thing is, or the point that I'm trying to emphasize upon is that you have to establish as well as administer the educational institute if you want to avail the advantage or avail this right. Okay, so definitely you have the right, any minority can form a institute, but you should not discriminate anybody. So this is covered under the article 30 subsection 1. The next is right of an educational institute not to be discriminated against in the matter of state aid on the ground that it has under the management of a minority. Again, the government can also not differentiate or discriminate on the basis of that this particular institute is run by a minority group, so we are not going to help them. So it should not be there. जो भी आपकी क्राइटेरिया होती है जिसके बेसिस पे यू अलाउ somebody to get that particular aid, so that should be discrimination free. That should not be on the basis of their color, caste, religion. जो भी आपका minority है या जो भी अगर वो majority है तो इस basis पे वो नहीं होना चाहिए. तो this is for the government. Okay, जो भी आपको state या जो आपकी government है उनसे जो भी aid मिलती है, that should not be on discriminating basis. All right, this is it. So these are the questions that you're going to do. So what do you understand by the cultural rights? And what do you mean by the political and economic rights? So these are the two questions that you're going to do. And this is it. This is it for the unit 1. And from the next lecture, I'm going to start with the second unit. All right, guys, thank you. Hope you have understood the lecture well. If not, then you can definitely ask me. You can ask your queries and I will be very happy to answer those queries in the next lecture. All right. Thank you.